All right, good morning. We're sitting on the heels, and as you come into this position, I would say maybe take the skin and draw it back from the shins toward the feet, and then find a comfortable place to set the sitting bones. So I'm going to broaden them out a little bit and then set on the heels, or as I said, you can take that folded blanket and prop yourself up a little bit there. So the thighs and the hips are in an internal rotation here. They're kind of working toward center, toward the midline. And the thighs feel long and smooth, lengthening towards the knees. I broaden the sitting bone, so then I'm going to center into that point at the pelvic floor that lies between the sitting bones. And I'm just going to take an inhale and just try to draw up nice and tall from that point through the spine, through the crown of the head. And on my exhale, become aware of anything that's bothering me, any tension, especially around here, and just try to exhale and let the arms become heavy, releasing down. When the shoulders feel comfortable, soft, the neck long, and when the heart feels open, then I'm just going to find a comfortable place to rest the hands. We're just going to focus on our breathing here for a few moments before we start moving. On those inhales, just opening up to the breath. If you have your hands at the belly, maybe feeling the belly respond to the incoming breath. And then as you're exhaling, just allowing yourself to soften the shoulders and the hips. And to sink down more toward the earth, embracing your roots, your foundation. Inhale, you're going to ascend and you're going to expand. Exhale, going to root and release. So just using the breath, watching it with the mind very attentive, should help to bring the body into a better alignment, which will open us up to the breath even more. We're going to feel it expanding through the inner body even more. And then as we exhale, we're going to release the tongue heavy and let it release from the teeth, from the upper palate toward the lower palate, toward the throat. Focus in on the sound of that breath as it's traveling freely, unobstructed, through that space between the throat, the nose, the ears. And keep your mind attending to that breath. So we're going to start to move slowly and gently. Again, just keeping the mind focused, moving with the breath. We're going to exhale forward towards child's pose. Take a full breath there. I'm going to inhale and come up slowly and easy. Return to that spinal position I had assumed earlier. And I'm going to take the right ear toward the right shoulder. Breathe into the side neck. And come back to center. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, take the left ear toward the left shoulder. Breathe and open the side neck. And slowly come back to center. Exhale to child's pose. Take a full breath there. Rest the head, rest the belly to the thighs. Breathe so your belly presses to your thighs and breath moves to your side ribs. Exhale fully, hip softening. And then following inhale, rising up. Getting nice and tall again, opening that heart, releasing the arms, taking a breath here. Let's just open the mouth really wide and get rid of any tension through the jaw. Maybe move the lower jaw a little bit side to side. Maybe hear the ears pop. Just trying to release, open up. And then we'll exhale back to child's pose. Take a full breath there. Let the mind get really quiet. And then following inhale, we're coming back up. And this time we'll press the hands into the floor, underneath our shoulders. Come into a tabletop position. And we'll inhale to cow. Belly heavy, spines extended toward the floor, toward the front body. My toes are curled. And then I'll release the tops of the feet. Draw the belly button up and in. And arch into cat. My exhale, I'll bring the big toes together, the knees a little wider. Return to child's pose. Next, inhale, bringing the spine upright, curling the toes, moving the spine to the belly toward the earth. Crown of the head extended in your cow. Then release the tops of the feet. Draw the belly button up and in. Feel the tailbone pointing down, chin towards sternum, cat. Exhale, big toes together. Sink the hips into the heels, child's pose. Inhale and come forward into our cow, curling the toes. We have the arch at the foot. Nice soft cervical vertebrae. And then flatten the tops of the feet down. Arch the back to the ceiling. And then come back to our neutral here. And we're going to extend the right arm out in line with the shoulder, palm facing in. And take the left heel and press it back. The thighs in an internal rotation. You're lengthening from the left groin, pressing the left inner heel to the wall behind you. You're still looking down so that the crown of the head extends the spine. And so the back of the neck is long and soft. As you inhale, reach through the fingertips, extend through the heel, feel the spine lengthening. Exhale, return the hand and the knee to their position in tabletop. And then we'll go to the other side. Left arm extending out. Palms facing in at shoulder width. And then I'm adding the right heel, pressing back. Inhale and extend the line of the spine through the limbs. Exhale, firm yourself at the solar plexus. Press down into the hand and knee. And release. Hand and knee return to the mat. And we sink back down, child's pose. Take a full breath there. Inhalation, come up, curling those toes, getting the shoulders over the hands. We go to cow. We exhale, move to cat. Then we take it to a neutral tabletop and we bring the knees and the feet together. I'm going to lift the feet and move them to the left as I turn my gaze toward my left shoulder just till I see those toes. And then I'm going to breathe into the side body. And I'm going to come back to center slowly, release the feet for a moment. And then we're going to take it the other way. I'm going to lift the feet, move them to the right, turn my gaze over the right shoulder. And I see my toes, stop and breathe. And exhale. I'm going to come back to center. Big toes together. Knees can go a little wider if you need. Take that nice child's pose. Inhalation coming forward. Cow. Cat. Neutral tabletop. Curling the toes for a little stability. And I'm going to reach that right arm forward and then reach it back toward the left knee and sink the shoulder. Head and neck heavy, and breathe here into this twist. If I push down into the left hand, I might be able to revolve the chest a bit more toward the ceiling and deepen. Want to breathe expansively into the whole side ribs, rib cage area. And I want to feel the twist is coming from the thoracic spine behind the heart. One more breath here, soft, easy head and neck. And then I'm going to come back to my tabletop. Reassert my neutral there. And then we'll go to the other side. I'm going to reach the left arm out, palm facing in. And then I'm going to exhale, reach back on the diagonal, sink the shoulder, and return to that twist. Just using the breath here to get comfortable with your edge, blurring the edge. Pressing down into the right hand if we want to revolve and deepen the twist a bit more. The heart area, the thoracic spine. All right, then we're going to inhale. We're going to come back to tabletop. Good. Let's curl those toes and extend the spine back. Take it toward downward facing dog. Make sure there's some space between the fingers. Root the knuckles and wrists and lift the sitting bones up. You can do a little cow cat here if you'd like. Or you could bend one knee, pedal the opposite heel toward the earth. Just kind of playing with this. Trying to keep the hands in place. Asking the arms to extend and lengthen so that the spine can as well. Relaxing the head heavy. Listening to your breath. And we're going to slow transition to plank. So I lower the hips, bring the shoulders over the hands, keep pressing the heels away from me so the body's elongated. Pull the solar plexus toward the back body to support you at center. Push the floor away strongly. Let's take it back to down dog. The groins are going to lift up and back. The hands and feet shouldn't have to move. And we extend that spine long. Play with your cow cat or your bending of your knees. Use your breath to assume neutral. And again, transitioning to plank slowly. The hips lower. The shoulders stack over the hands. The heels press back. We elongate. We find our center. And then we lift and deepen at the groins. Sitting bones are going to point up and we're going back to down dog. Hands don't have to shift. And again, as you go into down dog, find your breath. Work with cow or cat. Work the external rotation of the upper arms. Keep the chest open. Work the internal rotation of the lower forearm to stay rooted at the pointer finger thumb. All right, let's straighten it out one last time. We're going to plank. Elongating. Pushing the floor away. And then we're going to release to 8-point salutation. So I'm going to keep my toes curled, let my knees come down. I'm going to lift and deepen those groins. Keep the elbows close to the ribs and take the chest and chin down. Melt the heart. Rest the head in the hands and take a neutral breath. Just take a moment. Find your natural rhythmic breathing. Release any tension. Okay, we're going to bring the elbows under the shoulders and take this into Sphinx Pose. I want to press the sacrum down, press the tops of the feet down, lengthen the tricep down into the elbow, wrap the forearms in internal rotation, root the hands. Just feel my collarbones broadening here. Opening the chest. And I'm going to keep the pointer finger thumb rooted, straighten the arm bones, and lift this higher to seal. And let's hold here for several breaths. Connect the point from the outer collarbone down to the pointer finger thumb. So it's like a diagonal line crossing from the outer shoulder to the inner hand. That is part of the heart meridian in Chinese medicine. Let's try to activate that. Keep the exhaling into a heavy sacrum, strong active legs, and on the inhale, press into the hands, press the heart forward, the spine forward. Keep that breath flowing. And exhale, slow release. Stack the hands. Rest the head on the hands, soften the back of the neck, soften the belly and the front body into your mat on your exhale. And find neutral. From here, we're going to bring the hands behind the head, interlace the fingertips, and bring the thumbs to just under the occipital bone ridge. Then we will rest the forehead for a moment. And then I'm going to press the hips down, but lift the head and the chest, kind of press the base of the skull back into my hands, lift my toes, my legs, use the back body to come into Salabhasana, locust pose. Let the heart be soft. One more breath. And exhale, release, stack the hands, and find your neutral breath. Listen to the nervous system through the intermediary of the breath. And just attune yourself back to balance, back to kindness, back to gentleness. We are going to do Salabhasana 2 more times. Really want to think about the back body lifting and doing all the heavy work here and keeping the front body, especially the heart, soft. So let's interlace those fingers, bring the thumbs to the occipital bone, keep the elbows wide. And press down with the hips. Inhale, be drawn up at the backs of the knees, the back of the heart with the arms. Let the heart be soft and heavy, releasing on your exhales toward your mat. Lengthen through your toes, the crown of your head. Use that back body to support you. And exhale, release. Rest the head on the hands. Find your neutral breath. We'll come into Salabhasana one last time. And just taking a moment to reflect on how it went, how it felt for you, what you might change or try to tweak, what needs to be strengthened, what needs to be released as we go into that 3rd time. Interlace the fingers, thumbs at occipital bone, And press the hips down, but inhale, lift the back body. Let the heart be heavy. Keep the elbows moving wide. Press the base of the skull into the hands. Keep your breath flowing. And exhale, release. Enjoy that moment. Let yourself sink into the mat. Let yourself take a nice, long, smooth exhalation. When you're feeling like you're back to neutral and ready to plant the hands, we will transition back to down dog. Spread the fingers wide. Get the weight equal across the knuckles and wrist. Extend those sitting bones over the heel. And then lift the sitting bones high. Work the arms, the musculature of the arms in those opposing actions. External rotation of the upper arm, internal rotation of the forearm. Work the legs so that the thighs are in an internal rotation, bringing the hips into internal rotation. And the calves are externally rotating, broadening out toward the pinky toe side of the foot, rooting the heel more. Bring the feet together and extend the right heel to the sky behind you. Stay rooted at the hands and keep the opposite heel rooting toward the earth. Breathe into that spaciousness. Return the right foot. And then extend the left leg. Keep rooting at the hands and the right heel. Extend from the inner groin. Press the inner heel to the sky behind you. Breathe into that space. And then return that foot to the floor. Slowly back to plank. Find your plank, very stable, very long. And then we're going to roll onto the outer edge of the right foot and take our side plank. So remember, you can scissor the feet as a modification. Press down into the bottom hand strongly. Keep the upper arm externally rotated so the heart's open. Come back to center. Then let's go the other way. Drop the knees if you need a moment. Take a breath. And then we'll go to the left side. Modify as needed. Press down as much as you're reaching up. Breathe into the side body. And come back to center. Good. 8-point salutation one more time. Get that spine feeling nice and fluid, the heart soft. Melt the whole body down. Rest the head. All right, one last Salabhasana variation. We're going to extend the arms out this time as we reach up and lift up. So I'm going to take the arms out in front, palms facing in at shoulder width. I'm going to activate the legs, press the feet down. Rest the forehead neutral. And then on the inhale, I'm going to lift through the back body, reach out in front of me, reach through the arms, the crown of the head. Point back through the toes, press the hips to the floor, but lift at the backs of the legs, the elbows. One more breath. And exhale, rest the head on the hands. When you feel prepared and ready to move back to downward facing dog, then plant the hands. Spread the fingers wide. Elongate the arms and the torso and lift the sitting bones up. Now let's walk the hands and feet together. We will hang, bending the knees, releasing the belly onto the thighs, holding the elbows. The head's very heavy here. Then I'll push down into the feet, straightening the legs, extend the spine, chest parallel to the mat. Hands can be on the floor, the tops of the feet, or into the shins, whatever works for you. Feel those sitting bones broaden. Extend the spine out. And then we'll bend the knees, hold the elbows, hang. Then we'll push down into the inner and outer ball mount, center of the heel. Feel the femurs move to the rear of the leg, extend the spine, the belly's coming up and in. One more time, really soften and let that back body be heavy, cloaking you. Let your groin sink down. And finally, pressing into the feet, lighting up the backs of the legs as they straighten, a lot of energy moving into the hamstrings. Extend the spine, broaden the sitting bones. Take a nice breath here. We're going to keep the legs straight. Use the arms to wrap around the backs of the legs and pull the chest closer. And move towards sternum. Cross the bones of the legs into the arms and hands. Keep the feet equally rooted. Next, inhale, we'll reach out wide with the arms, come all the way up, and reach for the sky. And exhale, arms will come down. We're going to find our mountain pose now at the front edge of our mat. Great angle there. Okay. So let's bring some awareness to the feet, finding balance across the ball of the foot, the heel, the inner and outer edges, creating a good, strong rooting system. Sometimes I like to fan the toes out, them wide like the roots of a tree. When I can really press into the feet and activate the roots, I'll feel a rebound effect as the leg muscles draw up and really start to support an upward movement of energy. And that is the feeling you want to look for. The thighs and hips are in a strong internal rotation. Excuse me, the hips, the femurs, the bones, but the thigh muscle is broadening and keeping us neutral, keeping this front area nice and broad. So femurs in internal rotation for stability, thighs broadening, external rotation. Bones always give us the structure and the strength and the stability, and muscles work to move the bones, right? So if the muscles get tight, they can't relax, can't allow the bones to move back into the joint or to soften, That's when we start to experience some discrepancies and habits in the body that cause other issues. So we really want to think about working the bones separately than working the muscles. And we always want the muscles to be able to relax fully after we've engaged them. We should be able to completely relax. So hips are stable from the waist. I'm drawing up. I'll go ahead and inhale. Just try to lift that lower rib cage a bit. Then exhale. I'm going to bring the hands down, soften the shoulders, and then I'm going to press the hands together right in front of the heart. Bring the right and left sides together and zip up at center. Pressing the hands together slowly, elbows out wide. I feel my shoulder blades descend toward my waist. My neck will feel nice and soft and long. And I'm going to start to flow here, never losing my roots. So I'm just going to inhale, let the breath carry the energy up. Lift my heart, reach back. And I'm going to exhale, deepen the groins, bend the knees and hang. And I'm going to press into the feet, straighten the legs, extend the spine. Move the hands behind the legs, draw the chest closer. Then reach out wide, inhale, all the way up, stay true to my roots. But reach back, lift the heart. And exhale, return to mountain. So hopefully the feet haven't moved. You still feel like we have that strong, stable base that's supporting us. And we're reminded to move from center here as we press the hands together. We'll add on a little bit there. Inhale, taking it up. Don't slump into the low back. Use your core and lift up out of the waist as you reach back. Exhale and hang. Straighten the legs, extend the spine. Pull the chest closer to the legs. Bend the knees, reach the arms and sitting bones back and the chest forward. When you find center, pull the belly button toward the spine and extend the arms in line with the ears. Palms facing each other at shoulder width. Sitting bones sinking down, groins deepening, spine lengthening to the sky. And then we'll straighten. Press into the feet, get out of the waist, lift with the core. Exhale, return to mountain. Taking a breath here, finding your neutral. We're going to add on again. On our inhale, we're reaching up. I really want to lengthen that belly and open the whole front body. Exhale, I'm hanging, softening, releasing into my roots. Straighten the legs, extend the spine. Use the arms, draw the chest closer to the legs. Bend the knees, reach the sitting bones and the arms back, the chest forward. When you find your center, then take the arms in line with the ears, powerful pose. Nice full breath here. Don't hold at the jaw or the shoulders. Direct that energy into the core, into the quadriceps. That's where we need the power. And then let's go hands to hips. And I'm going to take the left foot back just about 2.5, 3 feet, a short stance. I'm going to keep the left thigh really working in. Make sure my inner heels could be connected by a straight line. And then press into the right foot, straighten the right leg. Broaden my sitting bones behind me. And come into Virabhadrasana or pyramid pose. So this is just like a one leg forward bend. Both legs are straight. I want to extend through the crown of the head, lengthen the spine away from those sitting bones. Stay anchored in the back leg. And then I can let the head round toward the leg. I'm going to inhale and come up slowly. I'm going to bring my hands to the solar plexus again. And we're going to work here in a very slow, modified way toward a warrior three, but we've got this nice short stance. So this is going to help us really decide where our center point is. So as I'm extending forward, I bend the knee, and then I press into the right foot and just drag that back toe up. Just a short little warrior three, and then return the toe to the floor, bring the hands back into the solar plexus. So I'm going to do this 2 more times, and I want to see if I can get it a little bit bigger, a little bit more extended each time. So it's like I'm taking the solar plexus energy and pressing it forward, coming onto the toe of the back foot, bending the front knee fully, then dragging up. And then I release, bring the hands back in. So I'm getting just a little bit bigger stance as I do this, and I'm figuring out what I have to do to get really good energy and be rooted at my center. And then as I release this one, I'm going to be in my biggest stance yet, and I'm going to go ahead and go right into warrior one. I'm going to sink into the bending of the front knee, release the hips, open the heart, reach up. Feet are planted. Legs are strong. My inhale is drawing the spine up, lifting and opening the heart. Exhale, hands to hips, and pull the back foot forward. Whew. Shake out any tension. Return to mountain. And we'll go through that on the other side. Hands begin at the heart. Press them together fully. Move from center. Inhale, reaching up. Stay true to your roots. Lift the heart. Exhale and hang. Straighten the legs, extend the spine. Wrap the arms, draw the chest closer. Bend the knees, reach the hips and arms back, the chest forward. Powerful pose. Hands to hips and right foot steps back. Short stance, 2.5, 3 feet. Inner edges of the heels line up. I press into that left foot as I straighten the leg. Deepen into this groin. Draw this thigh into strong internal rotation. I have to keep my hands at my sacrum there. Just to keep the front and back body equal as I start to extend out. Work into whatever part of the pose works for you. And start to round if you're feeling comfortable with it. We'll inhale and come up. And we'll begin that warrior three sequence. So starting really short and small and really figuring out what has to happen here and through the hip to the standing foot to really give us stability. Extend out from the solar plexus. Lift the weight out of the back toes. Press down. Lift up. And then return to where you were. And then maybe we get a little bigger this time. Extending out. Always staying true to center. As you're playing with this and you're bringing the back foot up, working on getting that hip to internally rotate or like draw under, because that's going to bring you more stability too. All right, final time, a little bit bigger. Put the back foot down. I'm into a bigger stance. I'm ready for warrior one. I'm going to adjust the internal rotation, bend the knee fully, practice arms, lift up. All about the breath here and using it to know what's happening with the nervous system and the mind, and then finding greater balanced self-awareness so that we're not struggling unnecessarily, so that we're not wasting energy at the jaw or the shoulders. Exhale, hands to hips. Draw the back foot forward. Whew, shake it out. Let's come to the center of our mat. So I'm going to be a mountain for a moment there. I'm feeling a lot of work from stabilizing the hips and working into that warrior three really slowly. So I'm just going to make sure that I exhale back to neutral. Try to release any tension from that area. And then let's bring the hands together, really press them into each other, elbows out wide so that heart opens, the shoulder blades descend, neck feels long, soft, easy. And then we're going to step out wide. Again, not that wide, a smaller stance with the toes out like this. Again, about that 3 feet instead of all the way under the wrists. Go into goddess pose. So as I'm deepening the groins and sinking the sitting bones underneath me, the thigh, inner thighs are going to lengthen, and my knees will start to disguise my feet from me. So real slow release into this. Keep the 3 corners of the foot rooted. Try to get the sitting bones to be right underneath you. Feel this lengthening coming around here and sinking the sitting bones down. Support at the core. Practice arms. Open the heart. Pull the heads of the humerus back. Press the sternum forward. Take a breath. Smile. And next inhale, let's straighten and reach up. Good. So we're going to exhale back into our deep bend. Take the arms wide. Let those sitting bones sink. Smile. Inhale, straighten and reach up. All right, one more time. See if you can sink it lower. And straighten. Release the arms. Bring those feet back in. Shake out any tension. We're back to mountain. So we elongated that inner thigh, and now we're going to carry that into triangle pose. So I'm going to take a wider stance, step those feet out underneath the wrist now. And as I step those feet out nice and wide underneath my wrist, and I'll turn from the right hip, pivot on the right heel, turn it out a full 90 degrees, and angle my back foot about half that. I'm going to keep both these legs straight and strong. I'm going to keep the 3 points of the foot rooted. I'm going to deepen here, move the thigh toward the back body so the sacrum can go down and anchor into the back leg. Keep your side body long and extend over. Keep the head, shoulder, neck, all over the front leg. I like to just reach over in that direction, open up the side, and then come back, revolve, and reach up. Turn your gaze slowly and carefully so the head stays in alignment with the spine. Resist the floating ribs toward the back body. Anchor into that back foot and breathe. Inhale, draw yourself up. Whew, that felt great. Looks good. All right, feet back to center. Let's go to the other side. Lots of opening action from the hip, pivoting on the heel, opening the whole inner thigh. Back foot about half that. Press into the corners of the foot, deep in the groin. Externally rotate the thigh and get the sacrum to anchor toward the back leg and into the back foot. Then reach over, side body long. Reach overhead, open the side as fully as possible. Stay anchored into that back leg. Then revolve, reach up and turn your gaze slowly and carefully so the head stays in alignment with the spine. And pull yourself up. Woo, heel toe, bring those feet back together underneath you. Find your mountain pose. Shake off any tension. This moment, this pause, this returns us to the place of wisdom. So we're not just a series of reactions that are involuntary. So we're not just responses to stress. Find your mountain, find your breath, reconnect. The pose takes you out of your comfort zone. And then when you come back to mountain, you're more likely to find neutral and be able to stay at neutral longer if you bring your awareness to it, if you make that your focus. So let's balance in tree pose today. I want to stay in mountain as much as possible, except for that knee that I'm going to bend and that leg I'm going to draw up. I'm going to just slowly take more weight into the right foot as I bend the left knee. And then I'm going to turn the left knee out. So it's opening the hip. I'm going to rest the heel right around the right ankle. And I'm going to make sure I don't turn and go with that. But I'm staying centered here and here. My belly's open and broad. And the weight's equal in the right foot. And then if I feel like it, then I can draw the foot up. Now you can rest the foot anywhere in the leg except right at the knee joint, because we don't want to make that joint unstable. I'm really lengthening, pressing the knee back, sinking down into that right foot for roots. I'm going to bring the hands together, bring the right and left sides of the body together. The more I resist the foot and the thigh against each other, the broader I can get across the belly, the more open the hip. Then if my roots are strong, I'm going to reach up and elongate. Focus point for the eyes, still and steady. Staying with the breath, take the arms wider. Open that heart, feel the ease around your shoulders. And exhale, release. Beautiful. Back to mountain. Recenter. Slowly transitioning more weight into the left foot as I bend the right knee. Move the right knee out, rest the heel. Resist the urge to go with that. Stay centered. Broad here. And then if you feel like it, bring that foot up or don't. Stay practicing on the toes. That works too. I want to resist the thigh and foot. Pull the knee out to really open the hip. Be broad across the belly. And if my root system's strong, I'll grow up higher into the sky. And I'll grow even more fuller. Feel that heart open. Feel the jaw and neck soften. And then I'll release. Ah, beautiful work. All right, let's take a last breath at mountain pose before we transition to the mat. Start at the feet, work the alignment up. It's all about the feeling. Align the bones so the muscles do not have to struggle. And let the inner body be soft so the breath flows freely. And keep the mind quiet and focused on this moment, on this pose, on finding greater balanced self-awareness. All right, good. Let's come down on the mats. We're going to start recline here. Go ahead and lie back and take a breath there. Just soft and easy. Extend the legs out nice and long. Rest the head. Take a breath into your belly. So today we're going to work into a full boat pose, and I'm going to start with the hands, the fingers interlaced and the thumbs right under that occipital ridge again. And I'm going to lie back, elbows wide, chest open. I'm going to zip the legs together. And then what I'm going to do to come into this boat pose is I'm going to bring the elbows toward one another and the chin toward the sternum. And I'm going to lift the feet just about 2 inches off the floor and look at my toes. Press the belly to the mat. And then exhale, release. Back to wide elbows, open chest, easy breath. So we're going to do that 2 more times. So really focusing on what you need to wake up, what you need to strengthen, what you need to let go of, right? So zipping the legs together. And then I'm going to pull the elbows together, draw the chin toward the sternum, lift the heels 2 inches, look at the toes, bring the belly button to the back. And exhale, release. Let the chest open, rest the head, easy breath. Okay, one more time. Zip the legs together, pull the toes back toward you, then press them out. Draw the elbows together, chin towards sternum, pull the belly button to the mat, to the back body, lift the heels. All at the core. And exhale, release. Enjoy that resting breath. I'm gonna take my arms out to like cactus arms. Just let the heart be open and just return to easy breath. Let that stomach soften and relax. And we're going to be practicing fish pose. So let's try it the first time. We're just going to grab the edge of our mat, resting the head behind us. I'm going to pull the mat toward me and come onto the elbows, press the sternum to the sky, and let the head be heavy. Sacrum's heavy, and then I'm going to exhale, release. We're going to do that 2 more times. So if this is a difficult pose for you, stay with grabbing the mat and dragging and just trying to feel that action to get the heart to lift. If you feel like you could take it a little deeper, you could bring the arms more underneath you to begin. I'm pressing my palms down, and then I'm going to press into the elbow and lift in this fashion. And then I'm going to exhale and relax and release. So we're going to go into fish pose one more time. And so whichever version you're doing, really try to activate the back of the arm from the shoulder to the elbow, the tricep. If you can get that to engage and lengthen down into your elbow, then you'll get the sternum to lift toward the sky fairly easily without much effort. So focus your attention in that area. Okay, one more time. Bring the arms either to grab the mat or perhaps a little bit underneath you. And then as you're ready, activating the triceps, bending the elbows, sternum to the sky, face to the sky, throat open. And exhale, release. Resting breath. I'm going to bring my hands to my belly here and reconnect to my breath that way. Let your tongue get heavy and soft. Release away from the teeth, away from the upper palate and into the lower palate toward the throat. I'm going to keep the left leg straight, and I'm going to bend the right knee, and then bring the right knee to the floor on the right side and tuck the right foot into the left thigh. So I'm coming into a reclined tree pose here. We did tree pose upright. Now let's explore reclined, where we don't have to hold ourselves against gravity. See if you can open the front of the belly even broader and open the thigh and the hip more. Keep the keystone bones, the shoulder blades, and the sacrum smooth and even against your mat. Keep the breath flowing. And then on that last breath here, let's keep the arms up overhead. Just reach them up, but keep the shoulder blades smooth. Then I'll exhale, release the hands back to the belly, release the right leg straight, take a resting breath. And I'm going to go into reclined tree pose with the left knee bending and the left knee dropping toward the floor on the left side. I'm going to tuck the left foot and the right thigh together. The sacrum and the shoulder blades smooth and even. And just feel the broadness across the front of the pelvis, lengthening the thigh, breathing into the back body, letting go of any tension. Letting yourself sink toward the floor here, letting it help you, assist you. We did tree pose upright. Gravity was working against us, and we had to tighten and contract and work. But here we can let gravity work for us. So open this hip. Knee get heavy toward the floor. And then let's just inhale and extend those arms up. The shoulder blades smooth. As you're extending the arms up, press through the straight leg foot. Elongate. Open to the breath. And then we'll exhale. Release the hands back to the belly. Release the legs straight. At this point, we're winding down and we're getting ready for our final relaxation. So I invite you to take a moment or two to do any pose that you'd like to do that would feel good to you. If it's maybe a hip opener, another down dog, a twist. Do what feels right for you. Take a moment to yourself. Taking thread the needle, keeping the feet flexed and keeping a nice arch in the foot so the hip joints active. If you have a hard time relaxing in Shavasana, you might want to take child's pose and really help to quiet the mental, we call it in yoga, the mental activity. And so finishing up any last pose that you're doing, and then if you need sweatshirt, sweater, blankets to make you more comfortable as we do go into Shavasana, feel free to grab those things, maybe put on some socks. And as you move into Shavasana, take the time with the hands to arrange the back body and smooth it out so it doesn't feel any sort of anything. We don't want anything to come up and bubble up later to bother us. So just really take the time with it. I like to start with the knees bent. Use the hands, pull the shoulder blades down, the back body down, set the sacrum down, extend the legs out nice and long. Bring the big toes together, and then let the feet drop open to wherever your hips feel comfortable. And then I work through the upper body. Take those upper arms slightly underneath me. Extend the arms out nice and long. Bring the fingers in. And then let the palms soften and the fingers curl. And then I readjust. If adjusting the upper body requires me to readjust the lower body, then I go ahead and do that. I turn the head a couple times with my breath just to make sure I find center. And then it's all about letting go. You found the right position to rest the back body. Gravity will once again assist us. And we'll just sort of surrender to gravity, surrender to the weight of the body, surrender to the moment. The eyes closed. Long exhalation, coming away from the teeth, toward the lower palate, toward the throat. The throat softens and opens. You hear your breath more clearly. You follow your breath and your exhalation down your throat and enter the solar plexus. We know the throat is connected to the lower intestine area, right? We know that the throat is connected to the stomach. We know there is a physical pathway there. So now use that knowledge. And as you release the tongue and throat to soften on your exhale, let it carry you all the way down into your center, into your own private sanctuary, your internal world, that part of you that is far away from the outer world, that cannot be disturbed by the outer world. And let each exhale take you closer to that place until you rest fully in that space. And when you arrive there, then stop trying to control or do anything with the mind. And simply let your natural breath breathe you. You'll probably become a little bit more shallow, softer, more like a sleeping breath. Just stay there. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. No one to try to be. Rest easy in your own energy. Next, inhale. Allow the breath to deepen. And let that deepening begin to spread out, ripple out from your center, back out toward the limbs. Open the hands, stretch the fingers, roll the ankles, the wrists, wiggle the toes. Wake up slowly. Stretch and move in a way that feels authentic to you. Take your time. No rush. When you feel ready, press yourself up. Come into a comfortable seated position. Close class here together. A moment of stillness with the spine upright and centered, the hips heavy. On the inhale, I invite you to reach up with me for hope, grace, and contentment. On the exhale, to bring the hands together, to bring those qualities to the heart center. Inhale, lift the heart higher. Exhale, bow the head heavy. Continue until head and heart meet fully. It is a great pleasure to share your practice with you. I hope it brings you a sense of peace and contentment that you can carry off your mat and out into your day. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, everyone.